The drive shaft of the truck before you was twisted into a strange, warped shape. It worked perfectly fine before it broke down. This was caused when the truck, originally built for 30 tons, was overloaded with 50 tons. The excessive weight led to the drive shaft twisting and deforming. I brought it to the shop, hoping to replace it, but they were out of stock. After inspecting it thoroughly, the shop owner said it could be repaired. The repair cost was surprisingly affordable, far cheaper than buying a brand new one. The quality of the repair reassured the driver. It's better to fix it than replace it entirely. With proper repair, it could last for over a decade. The driver realized that 3,000 rupees wasn't much. After all, it's not enough to visit Thailand or Singapore. So, he waved his hand and agreed to the repair. The owner didn't say much, he just nodded. The work began immediately. The technician carefully placed the drive shaft onto the bed. First, he cut off the twisted section. After separating the parts, the end with the flower-shaped splines was still in good condition. It was salvageable. So, for convenience, they decided to cut it. Before cutting, the steel pipe was twisted into position. This ensured the cutting edge was aligned perfectly. The result was a smooth, vertical cut and a clean correction. Once shaping and smoothing were done, the steel pipe was ready. It was then clamped into the sawing machine for further processing. The cutting continued, removing any spatter. In another corner, this piece of metal would usually be considered scrap, but here, it's being put to good use. After cutting off the excess, it was set aside for reuse. Then, the technician moved on to work on the universal joint of the other half of the shaft. Once reassembled, it was fixed onto the lathe. The technician checked for any deformation. After testing, it became clear that the axis was too deformed, causing significant misalignment. It was no longer usable. With a professional, responsible approach, the technician decided to cut off the defective section of the shaft. Only the universal joint was kept to connect the new steel pipe. With the old steel pipe scrapped, the technician found a new one. He measured it carefully to ensure the proper dimensions. After marking the pipe, he moved it onto the lathe for final adjustments. With precision instruments in place, the alignment is set. The cutting operation can now begin. The cutting is expertly carried out by the skilled craftsman. After comparing the cut with the connecting pipe, the depth of the cut is just right. The master has already perfected this process. The part is then moved back to the lathe, and the sliding needle is used for precise positioning. The technician ensures everything is aligned before welding. The drive shaft may seem simple in design, but maintaining it is a complex task. Electric welding is completed. The surface is then smoothed. Now, it's ready to be connected to the universal joint. The technician uses the sliding needle once more, carefully ensuring proper alignment. Everything must be perfectly centered. Even the slightest deviation could cause eccentricity. The technician must be meticulous and focused throughout. Constant attention is required to ensure no deviation occurs. Calibration is done before welding and securing the parts. First, a spot weld is applied to ensure uniformity of force. Then, the final welding is done. The steel pipe is firmly connected to the universal joint. Once this side is welded, the steel pipe is removed. Next, the pipe at the other end is detached. The connections are prepared for final assembly. The process continues to ensure everything fits perfectly. If the target is not met, adjustments continue. Once processing is complete, the flower shaft is connected to the steel pipe. Final welding ensures everything is secured. With all welding completed, the repair is nearly finished. This once scrapped transmission shaft has been fully repaired. The owner is confident it will last for over 10 years, as long as it doesn't break again. So, what do you think of this repair method?